Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burb with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 795 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the last dress rehearsal, everybody. It's game day for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their last preseason game of this 2025 campaign. We'll be kicking the season off in about 2.5 weeks, guys, with the New York Jets after we wrap things up today with the Carolina Panthers. And of course, Carolina is not playing any starters. We're playing most of our starters. So guys, this should be fun. They're giving us a crumb, I guess, because maybe we felt a little left out, through the first couple games, not seeing all the new toys and prizes and shiny things that we've gotten over this past offseason. But guys, we get to see them all tonight. I'm excited. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers. Glad to see everybody back. Welcome back. Mike, I got to be honest with you. I was thinking about the show yesterday, and I was crying and complaining that these games overseas, I got to get up at 9 o'clock to watch. We have viewers on the show that are in California who would be getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. There's viewers on the show that are in Japan where it's like a whole different day. I mean, it's probably like Saturday night football for people in Japan. And I'm over here going on and on. I know I hate getting up at 9 o'clock in the morning to watch football, but I put it into perspective. And you know what? Some people do have it worse than I do. But at the end of the day, Mike, I like my 1 o'clocks. I'm not even a primetime guy. Every so often I like it, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'd rather have my 1 o'clock games. Just being from right here in Pittsburgh, my whole entire life, it's just a habit. You get up on the Sunday and you read your paper, you do what you got to do, and then you get ready for your 1 o'clock game. So any little convenience is going to throw me off. I know this, but Mike, I do acknowledge this. So I apologize to P, who's on the other side of the planet, and the guys out on the West, Tortilla and John and everybody. Guys, I thought about you. I really did. Not that inconsiderate, but good morning, Michael. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. And yeah, man, I love waking up, game at 1, game at 4, 1 at 4:30, one at 8:30, and
Right. It's a perfect.
by the time that 8 o'clock game rolls around, they're showing highlights of us getting mollywhopped. I'm already over it at that point. Like, I'm done. Okay, yeah, that shit happened. I can go to bed. You know,
And then there's nothing
the
worse,
anger has left my body.
There's nothing worse than waiting all day to get beat at 9 o'clock at night. That's just kind of a pet peeve of mine. You know, you're excited, you can't wait for your Steelers, and then you lose at the end of the day, and it just feels like a whole day thrown away because that's, you anticipate this all day, and this is what you anticipated was a loss.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody on the board. Great to see Phil. Great to see RB. Great to see Coasterholics. Everybody is excited today. I'm guessing we got a big game. This is the last dress rehearsal before the Steelers get at it, guys, before things get real. And you know what? This might be the best, or at least the funnest one yet for us, the fans. Of course, we are going to see every starter that's not injured, whose name isn't Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Cam Hayward, or TJ Watt. You know what? I'm cool with that. We'll see the other guys in a couple weeks, whatever. I've seen two of these guys already play. I guess I could wait a couple more weeks to see the other two on our team. But guys, welcome back. Let's jump on the board. Mike Phil the Steel says, "What's up, Ryan and Vanilla Ping Ponger?" I'm like, I'm guessing that's you. You were the pale-faced ping ponger. Good morning, Phil. Always great seeing you, my man. And I know you were fired up because Steeler game day is like Field of Steel's holiday. I do know this.
Yes, it is.
RB, my man, he says, "Good morning, guys. I heard we have been in talks with Green Bay about Christian Watson or DeFabian Wicks." You know what? We're going to get into that shortly, Mike, because there were a whole bunch of moves that went down yesterday in the wide receiver department. So we'll get into that shortly here, guys. Coasterholics, he says, "It's a beautiful day for football. Thankfully, we can see the starters tonight." Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I woke up and thought that to myself as I had to drag myself out of bed thinking, another day, huh? I thought, you know what? We're going to see starters tonight. So I hopped up and I got on my way. Super excited about seeing starters tonight, as I think every Steeler fan is who's just been anticipating, Mike, seeing these guys, certainly over the last couple of weeks in the preseason, not getting a chance to check these gentlemen out. RB says, "I like what the UFC used to do. They did overseas events on US viewing times." I mean, that would make sense. That would make sense. I mean, if they're doing it live there, at least the people overseas get to watch it live at their time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that even just makes sense what I just said, but I agree. These are U.S. events. Why not treat them accordingly? Coasterholic says, "Night game wins suck too. If you get a win on primetime game, it's still hard to sleep because you're amped." Yeah. And then you're thinking of all the good plays, all the bad plays. What are people thinking about your team? A million thoughts going through your head at that point if you do win on a primetime game. Them 4 o'clock ones are weird, though. Here in Pittsburgh, the 4 o'clock, the mid-Sunday games are always weird.
Yeah, I hate it.
Because it's not early, it's not late, it's just in the middle of the day. And I don't know, 4 o'clocks are really weird, too. Phil Steele says, "I think Kittens aren't playing anybody, so Steelers are going to have fun for the Steeler Nation in Kitten Stadium." I think so. We're going to do our predictions at the end of the game or the end of the show for what we believe the score is going to be tonight. I already have mine in my mind. I was thinking about it in the shower, actually, and I do have a number that I'm going to put out at the end of the show for my prediction of the day. Of course, it doesn't matter, but for fun, we're going to take some predictions anyway on what we believe the score is going to be, guys. But again, big game tonight, like 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Steelers will be at Carolina playing the Panthers tonight. Lots of starters versus a lot of non-starters for Carolina. Mike, what are you looking forward to most in this game in particular? Which players are you not only do you want to see, but what players do you think that we as the Steelers Steeler fans should be keeping an eye on tonight?
Keep an eye on Caleb Johnson. He's the hot button du jour, the hot topic du jour. Everyone wants to see how he's going to do. I'd keep a big eye on him and that offensive line as a unit. If you're running out the ones and you're going against the number twos, you should be opening up holes. You should be able to push that D line back to give Caleb Johnson whatever running back holes to work out of. I want to take a look at some Beanie Bishop. He's a guy on the bubble. He may or may not make this team. So he's another guy that, we have to keep an eye on. And I want to take a look at all these wide receivers to see what we got, to see if we are going to go make a trade or wait to see who's out there after cut down day, and like any vets that make it through So yeah, those are like the players in position groups I want to take a look at.
You know who I'm ready to see? I'm ready to see Jonnu Smith. All I've been hearing about is Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, he's going to come here. You know what? He's really good. He's this tight end. He's a playmaker. Time went on. Oh, we're not going to get Jonnu Smith. And then all of a sudden, one day we wake up and we're getting Jonnu Smith. Mike, I just want to see Jonnu Smith play. I've heard this name so much. I want to see a little bit of what he brings to the table. Of course, we're not going to see a whole lot of the Aaron Smith offense, not in the preseason, Mike, tonight. They have 2.5 weeks to prepare and get what they're going to do in the regular season ready to roll. Tonight, I think it's going to be vanilla. I think it's going to be a lot of starters for a little while, at least. We'll get to see them, but I wouldn't expect too much action in this particular game. Like maybe if we could drive get a couple drives early and score some points. But you know what? It's going to be fun. Like Jonnu Smith is the name that I continue to hear. He's this Pro Bowler, blah blah blah. He was great in Miami, blah 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 blah. So Jonnu Smith is somebody that I'm keeping my eye on for sure tonight. As you said, Mike, the offensive line is very key. Very key, and especially getting to look at them with, as you mentioned, Caleb Johnson running behind them. I think that's a big thing to watch for, of course. And somebody made a good point I seen yesterday. I was reading. It said the Steelers wide receiver room is it's pretty. There's good depth. It's just not top heavy.
Yeah.
And I thought, boy, that's the best way to explain what we have as a wide receiver room. Like we have talented receivers, again, but in my opinion, you're in the NFL, you are at the top level of competition, and there's guys that are out there putting top ones and top twos out against you. I think you have to give yourself a chance by at least trying to figure this out, Mike. And they have it. Don't get me wrong. I understand that this has been a topic for a couple of years. I can't imagine why they wouldn't have gotten it done by now. But Mike, we are right at this moment still going in without a legit number 2 into the regular season. However, we got 2.5 weeks after this game, Mike. But the receivers started moving around the country yesterday. There's some trades going on. Sky Moore went to San Francisco. This guy went here, Mike, and it caught my interest because the article I read said the Steelers better hurry up. The wide receiver move is on. And I was expecting to see like any of the names that we've talked about over the past 8 months. Like not one single of those names have moved anywhere. Anybody that we have our eye on is still out there at this point. So again, Mike, a lot of things tonight. On the defensive side of the ball, I want to see Derek Harmon. If he could get another sack, that would be fantastic. I want to get a look at this linebacking core, of course, and then the secondary. Who wouldn't want to see this Pittsburgh Steelers secondary in action, Mike, with everybody involved? Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., so on, Mike, and even all these safeties. You're hearing a lot of good things about these safeties. There's a bunch of them right now vying for that last safety spot. So a lot to watch tonight, Mike, and the big punting showdown, Mike, here on the 26th, Tuesday, the 26th. That is cut down day, and it's going to be 53 men here in about 5 days, guys. So we're getting a look at all these guys at their last chance in game situations. But the punters, Mike, is going to be one of the better competitions. How do you pick that guy when it's all said and done?
Yeah, right now I think Carlos Waitman is leading that charge. I like what Johnson's doing. He was doing a lot of directional kicking inside. He had like 2 of the 3 inside the 20 last week. So for that's good there. They're both kicking well, but I think Waitman might have a slight edge right now. But who would have thought like we would be excited for a punter battle because you win either way. It's not like you're going in with like 2 ham and eggers, like, oh my God, this is going to be a shit show for the rest of the year. Like this one is like you can more or less flip a coin and you're going to have a damn good punter.
I think everybody's just excited it's not Presley Harvin anymore. I mean,
right?
Either one of these two guys is a breath of fresh air compared to Presley Harvin. But let's hop on the board for a couple of these messages, Mike. I do see Feel the Steel does say this. He says, give me mine now. Steelers 63, Kittens nothing. Woodside throws 480 yards, 4 touchdowns. RB says, honestly, I want the O-line to play most of the first. I do that. I got to see this offensive line. I got to see Broderick Jones. And again, they should fare well. You're not playing any starters from what I understand for Carolina. I want to see this offensive line. I want to see them not make any mistakes. game time experience. You're getting in there with referees and opponents from you wearing different jerseys. I want to see these guys not make any mistakes, any pre-snap penalties, any those are going to be big things to keep your eye on, because you want to kind of be under the impression that this offensive line is kind of on its way to getting to where it needs to be, to heading into regular season guys. Of course, you just never know. You never know with this group of guys, especially on the left-hand side of the line down at the end there. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him and Mike Fatanu. A lot of great news and word on him so far on the right-hand side on the tackle position. I'm going to keep an eye on him. So many different little things that I do want to see, Mike. And then again, we don't have football for a couple weeks, so soak it all in tonight, guys.
Oh, God. Why'd you have to bring that depression into it? We're not going to have football for a while.
Yeah. You know what? Somebody who might be excited that they don't have football for a while after this, Mike, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson gets hurt yesterday at practice. He left Wednesday practice early with what appeared to be a right wrist hand injury. He goes down for a while. He went back in the play right after the injury, and then he ends out leaving practice early with a wrist or hand injury. So, I complain and I say this guy don't play, that guy don't do this guy isn't getting enough action. But on the other hand, this is something that could happen. Again, it's a low percent thing, because compared to all the guys that get through preseason that don't get hurt, it's a low percentage. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be sitting there with I guess some people call it the MVP quarterback, like not with a hand injury, a wrist injury, certainly before the season even starts. So again, Lamar goes out of practice yesterday with a hand wrist injury.
Well, Lamar, take about a good 8 weeks to heal up, bud.
Yeah.
Your health is important. We know what you can do. We know what you can do in the regular season. Heal up, be healthy for the postseason. We want to see you at top form in the postseason when you start throwing to the other team and forget how to play clean football. But so sit out these 8 weeks and then come back for the postseason. I think that's what he should do. What's best for him and his family.
Yeah.
But I saw too, he also got stepped on earlier in that practice as well. It's like the defense is trying to take him out of the game.
Don't they wear them bright red practice jerseys anymore?
Yes.
Oh man. Whatever that UFO that's coming here in November is shining, is illuminating, is what they need to put on these guys. Because that
right. My God, at Tennessee Titans, one of their big D tackles hit Cam Ward, and it caused a big old fracas. He was like, "Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to hit him, but sometimes you get going, it's hard to stop." Come on, bro.
It really is, though. I mean, these guys are competing at 110%, and sometimes they're moving very fast. That's like I feel a lot for these guys that running the punters and kickers. That's such a tricky situation, because you're moving as fast as you can. You're trying to hit this angle, but you want to get the ball, and then if you attempt to get the ball and you miss, then you're just a lot of times you're going to hit the guy, and it's unfortunate. But
you're trying to anticipate where their body's going to end up relative to where your body's going to end up.
Meanwhile, while trying to make a play, it's a hard play to make. I mean, blocking a field goal isn't exactly the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
So, while you're trying to do that, you have to worry about all these other things. And
I can do it from my couch, you dummy.
But at the end of the day, Mike, you know what? You got to feel for the kicker, though, because they are in a vulnerable position. If you get plowed while that planted leg is on the ground and the other one's in the air, I get it.
Fuck them. They're kickers. They're crazy.
RB says if James pubic chair, I think he's talking about Pierre, makes his team again, I might be 1,000% done with Tomlin. You know what? I think he ultimately makes it back in probably the very last DB spot. I just, again, he does have the experience. I wouldn't be surprised or upset or anything if he does get cut, Mike, and doesn't make the final 53 on Tuesday. But you know what? He seems to make it through the cuts every year. He seems to make it through the cracks. And I think he might be the very last guy on the depth chart when it comes down to your defensive backs when it's said and done. Just my opinion, Mike. He's been around. He knows the system. And I'm watching him last game. He's terrible. I mean, he's getting, he's chasing a tight end around the middle of the field like he couldn't keep up. I'm kind of through with Pierre as RB is here. But for some reason, Mike, he makes it through all the cracks all the time. I don't get James Pierre.
Yeah, because I know they like him on special teams, and then he's that guy that every team has that makes that one or two plays. You're like, oh my God, we can find a role for him.
Let's keep him around. He made a play.
Yeah, exactly. And Corey Trice is always hurt. You know, so
Mike,
that gives him the bump over that. You know,
Mike, this carousel of guys,
mm-hmm.
and I don't want to go off the DBs we're talking about, but this carousel of guys that just continues to get hurt. Mike, Corey Trice, Calvin Austin, and maybe one of these rookies from this year. We'll continue to keep our eyes open, Mike. The rookies from last year, I'm talking about Fatanu and Roman. I'm going to be honest. If one of these guys gets hurt, Mike, I'm going to lose my mind because it's just this carousel of injuries. And at some point, you got to do something with these guys, Mike. You're not getting the value out of them for the most part, especially Corey Trice. Come on, I mean, what have we got to see this guy do? I mean, when he plays, he had a nice interception in the end zone last year. He's lengthy. They like that. He's rangy. But come on, I mean, you have to be able to play. You got to, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think he makes. Excuse me. I don't think he makes the roster due to those injuries. And
you might be right.
Like, wouldn't surprise me if a team takes a flyer on them, or if the Steelers try to sneak him back onto the practice squad, just for what he can bring to the table. But staying healthy is that's his Achilles heel.
What good is having something to bring to the table if you're never available to play?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, unfortunately, that's what, James Pierre, what's his best availability?
Right.
It seems like the guy is like always ready to go for you, ready in a pinch. You don't have to worry about him being banged up.
And he's always a step short. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Day late, dollar short.
He really is.
Except for that one play that he makes occasionally. And teams are like, okay, yeah, we'll give him a shot.
9 times out of 10, you're seeing him chase people around and trying to chase people down and beat them in coverage. And next thing you know, you're ready to get rid of him. And then he'll intercept the ball or something late in the game that pops off another guy's hand. That Pierre, he's not too bad. But you know what? I don't know. He's one of them bubble guys for me. He's on the fence. I don't know if I think he's going to make it. We'll get more into that Monday, early next week, getting ready for the cut down. We'll get into who we think will be around and not. But Mike, today it is game day. The Steelers at the Carolina Panthers. A lot of excitement going on as we are going to see the starters today, Mike, all except for 4. And if they're injured, of course, we're not going to see them as well. But guys, tonight the Steelers at the Panthers. A lot of things to talk about today, Mike. Let's get through some more messages. We will get into some different topics today. Mark Malone, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Mark Malone on the board. Mark Malone says, I don't think Caleb Johnson has a single carry behind the starting line or the starting offensive line. It's going to be interesting. Again, see what they do. Tomlin always keeps you guessing, I guess. And I don't think that's going to change any different tonight in the preseason game against Carolina. So, again, I just really look at this one as it's going to be fun because we're going to get a chance to look at all these new Steelers, in their uniform and see them in our colors, see them out there playing a little bit. Again, Jalen Ramsey, I'm super fired up, Mike. And also Jonnu Smith. I want to see some of this Jonnu Smith hype, what that's about. So hopefully he gets some action. And then also Darnell Washington. I can't wait to see him catch some balls. And and then once they, it's going to be another Mason and Skylar Thompson and Longhead. Between them three, that's going to be what you got. So again, Mike, they'll probably throw the ball around. It's preseason, man. It's going to be fun. Again, seeing the new guys is, I think, what's the highlight of tonight's game. And to see, if they tighten anything up from week 1 in preseason. Again, cutting down their roster to 53 this coming Tuesday at 4:00 p.m. And then beyond that, guys, we're on about a 2-week wait to get ready for the Jets to kick off the season. Mike, let's hop back on the board. RB says, I still don't get the wide receiver talks besides Cincy and Dallas in Minnesota, who have a wide receiver room head and shoulders above ours. I think we have a better wide receiver room than Baltimore and KC. I know that Baltimore got some weapons over there. Even a DeAndre Hopkins, Mike, at his age, Mike, compared to all of our 3s and 5, again, we have a heavy wide receiver room, but again, it's not top heavy. We have a bunch of guys that are really good 3s and 5s. I don't think he's no more than a 3 or a 5 anymore at this point in his career, beyond Hopkins, of course. Mike, but again, besides that, they do have other receivers to throw to. They do have Zay Flowers, who's really good. They do have, and compared to, like I said, anything above a 3, I say we have one guy at that position. We have DK Metcalf. Right now, a legit number 2. I don't think we employ one. And I do think that Baltimore has a decent receiving core, don't they?
It all depends on how you view Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. Bateman was considered a bust, more or less, up until last year. And now he's like a borderline number 2. I still don't think he is. I still think he has a big case of the dropsies. And Zay Flowers is just he's Calvin Austin the third clone. 5'9", $183. But he's able to put up 1,000 yards last year. And I think Calvin Austin can be used in the same way. But I don't know. I don't view Zay Flowers as a true number 1, but he was their number 1 receiver last year. But they also have 2 really good tight ends, and Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. They spread the ball around and they run the ball with Derrick Henry. It's almost like they run like an Arthur Smith type offense. We're going to spread the ball around to these guys that can make plays. They may not be the top flight number 1 receivers, but we'll get them open somehow.
Yeah, they got tons of weapons. I'm not. Listen, I'm not underestimating Baltimore at all. I think their receivers certainly stay up. Mike, you mentioned Zay Flowers had 1,000 yards receiving last year. When was the last 1,000-yard receiver that we had? We just are not top heavy, Mike. Again, people that keep brushing aside this wide receiver 2 position thing, it kind of blows my mind because, again, Mike, in the NFL, you're getting the best of everybody week in, week out. On the other side from you, and I would think that you'd want to put your best possible foot forward. And with a bunch of 3s and 5s, that's just not putting your best foot forward. But again, Mike, we will see. There's still time. There's still guys out there. And as a matter of fact, all those names that we've talked about to this point are still available out there. Your Gabe Davises, your Amari Coopers, your all the way down the list, Mike. So the rumor, guys, what is this? Now, at first, I thought this was a hoax. I thought it was a joke. Mike, whenever people were talking about the McLaurin for the Freiermuth in a draft pick, and then it was made out to be like we made this offer and they refused. And it came out yesterday by a couple sources that they made that offer and we refused.
I still don't think that is a real thing because everywhere I saw it pop up from was like the meme sites. No official reports from like Adam Schefter or anyone really deep inside the NFL. I just seen it reported off of aggregate sites. So I don't know what to believe. And I don't even know if I would make that trade to be honest with you. I would. I just don't know. And
I'm going to tell you why. Everyone's complaining. They say if you get McLaurin, you're going to have $60 million tied up in your wide receivers. You know what? So be it. Guess what that means? That means you're going to be better on offense. You know what we're doing? We've been going out there for years without a second wide receiver, and you know what? We haven't had much offense. We're paying $10 gazillion to 2 guys on the defense that don't win playoff games. Let's give some money to the offense and then continuously score. Be more consistent at scoring. I'm fine with that. Well, you can't. You're gonna have 2 receivers. It's gonna be 10 up 60. That's fine. Whatever. Take it out of my wallet there.
Right.
But you know what I mean. I just whatever. Right now we don't score well. We haven't scored well for some time. We're assuming that things are going to be better this year because of some offseason moves that we made. But again, there's teams out there putting the best 1s and 2s they could possibly find on the field. And again, we're strong at the receiver position, but it's more in the middle of the lineup. And, again, are you putting yourself in the best position to win? I don't think so. But going back to what you said, Mike, yes, I don't know this to be a rumor or not. I've seen it on things like The Standard. I've seen it on Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh sports sites. However, I've never seen anything confirmed, never anything by an Adam Schefter, as you said, Mike. But again, you have 36 tight ends. I would certainly make this move. Losing Freiermuth will be fine. You have a playmaker in Jonnu Smith. You have a monster future tight end in this league in Washington. And you know what? A 2nd-round draft pick next year. I have 35 picks. I'm making this move, Mike. That's a fan move. It's a fan favorite move. Again, it probably won't ever happen.
Yeah.
But me as a fan, I would love to see that happen.
I do it. Fuck it. The only thing that really concerned me about that was trading that number 2 draft pick.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. Yeah. Fuck it. He would be
our number 2 legit receiving core. You're comparing.
Yeah.
You could say the Jamar Chase and the other guy over there. I mean, this would be, these guys are 30 and a little bit older, the guys that we would have. But again, at the end of the day, you would have a superior wide receiver room, and there would not be any questions of not having the best possible guy out there. but I'm sure it's going to be a Scotty Miller or a Ben Skoranek at the end of the day, which works now. But does those kind of things work in January?
Yeah.
RB, let's get back on the board. He says one factor to keep in mind: Boswell trained Waitman in how to hold. Coasterholics, my man, what's up? He always great seeing Coasterholics. He says, let's pretend that the Presley Harvin era never happened. 25-yard punts. Thanks, I guess. Yeah.
He had an occasional 50.
Yeah.
Followed up by a 5.
Phyllis still says this is the Standards last season. RB says James Pierre's best ability is giving up easy catches after being in the wrong. I agree. Boy, is he always in the wrong place, or he's always just one. Yeah. RB says, I hope so. Mark Malone, he has 2. He's talking back to Mark. Mark was saying, okay, Mark was talking about Caleb Johnson running behind the offensive line. Phyllis still says, everybody gonna have fun tonight. Even the tranny cheerleaders is gonna play, Mike. The tranny cheerleaders are gonna be playing.
Well, hell, man, the fucking brother up there in Minnesota, they ain't got no wide receivers, so lace them up, boys. Let's go.
Hey, them guys ain't no tight ends either, believe me. Mike.
Well, how do you know, brother?
Now, whenever you play the games overseas, do those guys go with you, or are those just home game? I don't know how the cheerleaders. We don't have cheerleaders. I don't know the procedures in the NFL. I don't think the cheerleaders travel. You don't see Dallas as cheerleaders in other people's stadiums.
Yeah,
So
I don't think so.
It
might be different for the international game.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe less. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. RB says, but what I'm getting at is we overlook tight ends as just tight ends, but successful teams, San Fran, Baltimore, KC, Detroit run the same. No wide receiver 2 offense and stack their tight ends, halfbacks, and wide receiver depth, and no one bats an eye. I know.
They had some really good innovative play callers. KC, Baltimore, got
these are all really good teams.
Really good quarterbacks.
Except for San Fran.
Yeah.
So
I get what you're saying. Like, believe me, I do.
That's the thing. I just don't know if it's.
But
I don't know.
We haven't seen it work for us, so that's what makes.
Mike, we haven't seen many things work for us over the past 5 years. So it's another thing. Just kind of keeps it. There's a little doubt in the back of your mind. As much as they did in this offseason, as much moving and shaking that Omar Khan has done, you just have that feeling again. Mike, this time last year we were feeling pretty good about our team, but to be fair, they were 10-3 after 13 games. So. Were we that far off of where we should have been? And if that's the case, then we should be a little further along than we were this year, because we made a bunch of additions, Mike. I think it just comes down to how much these guys keep their heads in the game at the end of the day. I think the way that these guys prepare for these 17 games coming up is just going to be so big, and that's a lot of time the difference in the way teams play. Again, you always want to go back and look at that Baltimore Ravens defense, Mike, when Ray Lewis, that guy wouldn't have let anybody go out and play less than 110%. Yeah. And, sometimes to get the guys motivated, you got to do what you got to do. Let's get back on the board. Phyllis still says Steelers went from having great coaching to what the F coaching. Mark Malone says then Tomlin unleashed hell in December. I know our late seasons are getting like Miami's anymore. I don't like this, but you know what, Mike? We get Miami in Pittsburgh this year, so
fuck yeah, boys.
We'll see what gives there. Mike, let's see what else is going on. With our Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, Mike, a lot of players did start moving yesterday, but again, none of the names that we talked about.
No,
Gabe Davis, supposedly he went and met with Buffalo yesterday. He was here just 2 days ago, Mike, and he didn't leave with the contract. He went to visit Buffalo. So, again, we're still in that 10 to 12-day time period of where we might see a move in pursuit of a wide receiver. It's not out of the question, guys. Again, we played tonight, and then there's still about 2.5 weeks. So, things could happen. The final cut down comes on Tuesday, so things could happen. The way this team's been moving and shaking in the offseason, Mike, I don't rule anything out at this point. Just because, again, I didn't expect Jalen Ramsey to be a Steeler this season. I didn't expect Darius Slay to be a Steeler this year. I didn't expect DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers. Go down the list and look what this GM did. And so I don't rule anything out at this point, Mike.
Me either. Nothing will surprise me. Let me just say that. Like, nothing that's going to happen will surprise me. I could, wake up one day and see, we got McLaurin, and somehow we convinced them to eat his cap space for the year, and we also signed someone else. Omar Khan has a way of making these moves. And I don't know what he does to some of these GMs, man. But my God, they give assets and players away.
Remember when Suge Knight hung Vanilla Ice off the building by his ankles? This is what I see happening. I see Omar Khan hanging these guys by their ankles from a building somewhere and making them make these moves. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me. It is the only thing that makes any sense to me, Mike. A couple of the things that we do have about the game tonight. Excuse me. YA Black, absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely was the word that was used, Mike. We'll see time at nose tackle tonight, Mike. YA Black is another one I'm going to be keeping my eye on, especially, again, you're not playing starters. You expect to see some of these guys really excel tonight, Mike. I want to see what these guys got. YA Black is a guy that I've been keeping my eye on. I want to get a good look at him in the middle of the line. Again, Mike, he's going to be absolutely be seeing time at nose.
Oh, yeah. I want to see what he can do. I want to see what Keanu Benton can do as well, too. Logan Lee, not just, long snapping. I want to see what he can do outside of being a long snapper.
I don't know. My thing with Logan Lee, Mike, I didn't want to see anything that Logan Lee had to do up to this point. And now he's long snap, and we want to see what else he could do beside long snap.
Well, no, he's a D end.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I want to see
when have we talked about Logan Lee at all on this show up to this point?
That's true.
I'm just saying, let the guy long snap, let him focus and do what he got to do till we get Kuntz back at this point, Mike. But again, I'll take whatever that's worth. We will keep an eye on Logan Lee on the defensive end, Mike.
Yeah, I want to see what he can do. That's why we drafted him. Let's see what he can do.
All right. Stop yelling. Let's see, Mike. Also, what else do we got here? Mike, it's been over 20 years, apparently. I didn't know this. I just read this morning. It's been over 20 years since a healthy Steelers starting quarterback skipped preseason.
Yeah, I saw that.
I imagine that was Ben, and I can't think of, again, I just don't remember this. I always remember our starters going in for that first series of a game. But again, Mike, this is the first time a healthy starting quarterback for the Steelers have skipped the entire preseason. Is this good? Is this bad? I don't know. Maybe you have to go around the league and look at what teams do every year and what the results they get. But, we will see, guys. We didn't think that Aaron Rodgers would play initially. Then we kind of hoped we want to see him, but after that he didn't. So we will find out for sure. Let's see on the board. RB says if we're talking just passing, I'm taking Rodgers at 42 over any of those quarterbacks of those teams besides Mahomes. Yes, if we're worried about passing, I'm talking about 42-year-old Rodgers over Jackson. You know what? I'm just curious to see what that 42-year-old arm has.
Yeah,
I might make that call too, but I wasn't watching the Jets really close last year. I watched the highlights like everybody else did, but I want to see what that 42-year-old arm brings to the table. If he can still get out there and that sidearm snap, whatever that thing he does, and get the ball in the right spots, and I might not disagree with what he's saying. But any of the other guys, though, I don't know. Did he mention Buffalo? I don't know if there's anybody I would take over Josh Allen, but that might not have even been the other comment. Fearless Steel says, is Tomlin's last experiment, Ryan? You know what? This is the best team that Tomlin's had in a while. We're going to see. This team, in theory, should be better than what that team was doing at 10-3 last year before it hit its snag. You would think with the work that we put into this team in the offseason, it would be a better – we're by default going to be a better football team.
Yeah.
And, again, I would like to see Mike Tomlin win one, Mike, at this end of his career. Now, again, that clears up a lot of controversy and a lot of debate in the future, which is always going to happen because you're always going to have people that like this guy. You're always going to have people that like that guy. I just wish he could win one, Mike, to kind of separate that a little bit because we already know the argument. We've been arguing the argument for decades, Mike. So, again, I would like to see him get a tail end championship on his career coaching here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, me too. And because it will help the organization too. Make the team look better.
Got to make the team.
Got to make the team. Got to support the team. No, it make hey man, we stand alone with 7 Super Bowls by ourselves.
Oh, wouldn't that be great, guys? If we win a 7th Super Bowl, maybe I don't know. We're looking too far into this. We're being too optimistic. Probably.
No. Well, shit, man.
Well, you know what? Like, there's 32 teams that want to win, right? Is it wrong? Is it wrong to want your team to win and think that they're to have a chance?
No, it's not. No, you're allowed to put pragmatism aside a little bit, and
I mean, we're not the Cardinals, right?
exactly. You're allowed to put the pragmatism aside and wonder for a few moments of, God damn man, it would be awesome if this team wins a Super Bowl. This is what sports is for. It's a distraction. It's to be fun. But yeah, you're allowed to think it. Reality's going to slap us in the face soon enough, so might as well live a little
Yeah,
pie.
what if we the Giants?
Oh fuck God! I don't know, man. They're building a nice little squad up there.
They'll do good for that one, Mike. They're going to build a team good enough to win a Super Bowl out of nowhere, as they usually do, and then they'll go back into being terrible. I don't think it's going to be this year, Mike, but I guess for the lack of a better team, I could say, who are we? The Titans, So for the joke, Mike, I'm just going to change my team up there. Let's go ahead and move forward on the board. Mark Malone says the Roman and Big Johnson need to let it rip. I want to see more Roman. I don't, you know what I mean? To take Roman for 4 catches, 96 yards, 24.5 yard receiving percentage, Mike, in 2 games. I got to see a little bit more of that. Again, I think that's misleading. You can't go off. I mean, the guy made 4 great catches. He made 4 good catches in the first 2 preseason games. But again, so much more has to be done for us to consider him to be a really good receiver, and especially if he's going to be a guy, Mike, playing opposite side of DK Metcalf. If we don't bring in somebody between now and opening day, I want to see a lot more of Roman Wilson. I'm not saying that I'm not impressed in what he did, or I'm not happy with what he did. I just want to see more Roman Wilson.
Yeah, so do I. I want to see more, but these are encouraging signs. This is what you want to see from him. So I'm encouraged what I see. So we'll keep it going, man. I have high hopes for him this year. I see why they drafted him. The way he was running his routes, the way he was getting open against guys on Tampa Bay that are legit number 1 starters in the league. So that was encouraging. Yes, it was only 1 play, but that's what you want to see. A guy who was drafted in the 3rd round, dude.
It's not one play, Mike, that we have something to complain about. So that's
exactly.
So we'll take it. But yes, Mike, again, it's hard for me to pick one guy. I guess if I have to pick a guy, I can pick a name. But it's all these guys. I can't wait to watch them all play tonight. See what we got. And again, I think a lot of the rookie, or I'm sorry, a lot of the free agents that are over, guys, the Ramseys, the Slays. That's why a lot of people, Steeler fans certainly will be tuning in to watch their team tonight, is to see these new Steelers, Mike, in a situation, again, where it's not against starters with Carolina. So it could be a little fun for us. It should be in theory. If it's not, if we're all slamming the remote in the middle of the first quarter, shutting off our TVs,
right?
I'm sure we'll hear about it and talk about it tomorrow. But, Mike, I expect a Victory Friday tomorrow to wrap up the week and get ready to head into the weekend, Mike. But again, there's still a football game to be played between now and then. There's a useless football game to be played between now and then. We will see the results, though, guys. Feel the Steelers says, I'm ready for the Woodside show, baby. Yeah. Enjoy your last moments, Woodside. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's going to be turning in his number 6 uniform tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
RB, what is RB? RB says Logan Lee, Leal, Loudermilk, the 3 L's. Tomlin has a bone on all these for pass rush 4-3 DTs and tried to make them 3-4 ends and don't work ever. Yeah, some of these guys, the Loudermilks, Mike. I mean, I know he's a depth guy, but I don't know. I don't get anything out of any of these guys anymore. The one that I really liked out of this was DeMarvin Leal, and he let me down.
Oh yeah, he showed really good promise being a tweener. And he just didn't pan out.
Yeah, I was really hoping, Mike. Keanu Benton and Leal were 2 that I liked early on. Now it's Keanu Benton. Mike, I really think that this guy, if he finishes plays and has a strong season, and I said it earlier this week, Mike, this team, it just helps that defense so much more if this guy right in the middle of that defensive line could start making finish these plays.
Yeah.
Especially with the back end help that we have now, Mike. It could be a lot of fun this year, guys.
Yeah.
Feel it still. Our Steelers have lost respect, fellas, for real. Yeah, we got to win. I mean, the thing is, we're relevant because we're the Steelers.
Yeah.
But you got to win. At the end of the day, you got to hold up your end of the deal. You only get so much respect because of who you are. The Yankees are always going to be the Yankees. But until they win a World Series, people, they're going to talk their shit. We get that. RB says that's also the thing with the wide receiver 2 stuff. A lot of the wide receiver 2s aren't as good as people think they are because of the attention wide receiver 1 draws with HB1 and or tight end 1 as well. Look at a guy like Ayuk or Juju here. I think it's just, to have a presence of a number 2 receiver goes a long way. You have to count. You have to account for him. You know what I mean? And it kind of, it alters your coverage, and to have guys that are more middle of the pack, I just think it simplifies things for the opposite team secondary. But again, I hope I'm wrong about all this. Again, if we go with if we go with what we got, Mike, and this Arthur Smith offense just blows everybody away and is successful like everybody's been telling me it's going to be, and I'll be fine. But if that don't happen, I am going to be crying about a wide receiver 2 for a 3rd season in a row in the off season and coming up. And I don't want that. I don't want to complain about that for 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, why? Why wouldn't you just address the situation if you're putting a team together, and especially all the work you've put into the team to this point? Why leave one position just vacant?
Yeah, but it all comes back to, when they drafted Roman Wilson, he was the guy last year that they thought would be that piece right next to George Pickens, would be that wide receiver too.
Let me cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
Let's just say he is injury prone. Let's just say come on, we've seen him barely. I don't even remember if he played the beginning of last year before he got hurt. Roman Wilson, let's just say he's one of these guys, because he still hasn't, we still haven't seen him play in a meaningful game. Let's say we lose Roman Wilson for a long time again, and God forbid, but with what we've seen so far to this point with some of these guys, Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson, I think that's more of another reason to go out and get another guy, at least to have, Mike, because these guys haven't proven to stay healthy through the course of a season. They're little. These guys in this league hit you hard. Again, that kind of concerns me too, Mike. I don't know if these 2 guys are going to be healthy all year.
I get that. But are you just going to do that for like any position now where someone gets hurt? Oh, we got to get like 3 more
no, the one that we don't have anybody at is the one that I'm addressing. Again, I'm not making this up out of left field.
I know.
I mean, if it wasn't a problem, I wouldn't continue to bring it up. But again, you don't see this not be addressed year after year. Again, if we're going into another off season next year with the same situation, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
Mike, it sure feels like forever ago since we had Pickens, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that I was just about to bring him up because his attitude threw a wrench in the whole operation.
Yeah,
like his attitude right after we got traded for DK Metcalf, him acting up behind the scenes right after that happened and pushing everything too far to where we had to get rid of him. That kind of threw a monkey wrench in their big plans, because I guarantee they wanted to have George Pickens and DK Metcalf for this season. Then Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson settle into their spots.
Yes.
Do all these other moves. Everything lines up perfectly, and then one ass clown can ruin the whole operation. I'd rather have them, just get that shit out of the way early. And they're probably like, fuck it, we're going to roll with what we got, keep making these moves, and we're fine with it. But, we'll see. I do think they are going to sign someone. I don't know who.
I tend to think so too, Mike. Again, just because Omar has been so aggressive until this point, Mike, I have a hard time thinking that we're not going to make a move. But again, we went into last season without a wide receiver too, so I don't know. I don't know, guys. But I am going to jump back on the board and say what's up to Corey. Good morning, sir. Always great seeing Corey Beavers on the board. He says, sorry I'm late, guys. Hey, man, no problem at all. He says, been working on content. Can't wait to just have Steeler football. I'm not taking preseason for granted anymore. I just love to watch my team. Absolutely. I cannot wait to watch football tonight, guys. Again, we get the game to begin the week off. Like Thursday night, there's a second game tonight, but we start this weekend off. And again, when it's over, we'll be cutting our roster down to 53 men, and we're going to be getting prepared for Justin Fields and the New York Jets up in New Jersey in just a couple weeks, Mike. I couldn't be more excited at this point. Sticky B, what you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says first preseason game I get to watch this season. I don't care who plays. I just want to see the black and gold in action. I totally understand. Man, I feel that. I feel that with my heart. I don't know how many times I've said that in my life. I just want to see my guys, my Steelers out here playing football. Sticky B, that hits home more than you know, brother. Great seeing you on the board. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah.
RB says, look at the Pats dynasty. Who was their real number 2? But that, again, they're freaks. I mean, there's a million things that New England did over that 20 years that I don't think that anybody could even explain. Again, because if they did in a copycat league, somebody would have tried to do what New England did to duplicate their success. I think it's just having the GOAT. It's just like having Michael Jordan. There was nothing that was going to happen to those Bulls in the 90s that they had Jordan. And this team had the GOAT. And, ultimately, I think that's what it comes down to. The GOAT went to Tampa Bay and won a Super Bowl just like that. Again, it just says something about the player. I hated him. I don't, we had the worst. I think we had the worst trouble with that team. I mean, obviously the bad teams did as well. Yeah. We just could not make any way against the Patriots.
Because we could never cover a tight end and those shifty receivers. Yeah. It ate the Dick LeBeau's zone blitz defense. It made it look terrible. And he had no answer for him. And
the thing is, nobody did. That was, we could blame Dick LeBeau. We could do whatever, but nobody did.
Like blaming Dick LeBeau.
But the fact that we were good every year in, year out, and we just would get done. He came to Pittsburgh and put up 51 points against us one year.
Yeah,
we were a pretty decent team. That might have even been when we had the Killer Bees. I don't recall the exact year, but they were freaks. I hated it. And it wasn't like it went on long enough. It was only 20 years. I just, a couple of years dynasty. The Cowboys was bad in the 90s, like 3 out of 4 years. But then the Patriots, they just came and blew it away. 2 decades of this guy.
Fuck that guy.
Phil says the New England cheaters. Well, he should get, but everybody cheats to some capacity, though.
They were just dumb enough to get caught, but then they're lucky enough that the NFL just swept it under the rug.
I mean, every team that wins in anything anymore, it's like, well, they were cheating. Look at Michigan. Look at the Houston Astros. Look at,
Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Well, apparently, the only teams that are cheating are the ones that are winning championships, as far as we know. Also, Mark Malone says, lucky we don't play the 3-4 anymore like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
RB says Welker, Edelman were average size. I know they weren't anything amazing. They were average size players who fit in a system and didn't get an eighth of the attention of Moss, Gronk, Hernandez, and whatever the halfback was. It could have been any of them. Corey Dillon, Blunt. But good point taken. Again, this is just a case of the GOAT, Mike. Any average size white guy you'd have thrown in that lineup would have been a great wide receiver.
Dude, they were taking lacrosse players and turning them into wide receivers.
And that's what it was. They all those receivers, Mike, for New England, they all had that lacrosse body. They were 5'10",
shifty little guys,
white, shifty. I mean, it was the same guy. As I always said, it was like the old Eminem video with where you had all the M&Ms were on the conveyor belt going across, and it was that's what it was like. It was like Bill Belichick was making these little white guys in a factory somewhere and adding them in Tom Brady again for 20 years, 2 decades, was able to make these guys superstars. What did Wes Welker do when he went to Miami? Nothing. I'm not saying Wes Welker wasn't any good. He was good. But you went from being Wes Welker that was unstoppable in New England to Miami to where you didn't hear his name all season long. That's the GOAT. That's the only thing that I could come up with, Mike, is it's the GOAT. We've never seen anything like him or what he's done in the history of this game.
Yeah,
in the Super Bowl era.
In the Super Bowl era, and it goes hand in hand too. That system and him in there, both together, was just lights out.
Because Bill Belichick still ran his system when he left, and they weren't great. Tom Brady went elsewhere and won with, so that's why I lean toward Brady on this one. I think the system in him made it perfect, but I think he was the he was the reason for the season. I think I do believe that.
Yeah, he was the conductor.
He was the conductor.
Yeah, and Belichick never did anything without Tom Brady.
He didn't. That's what I'm saying.
He was considered a failure when he went to New England. He was a terrible coach up in Cleveland. And then,
as much as I hate him, Brady's the man.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a 6th round Big Ten quarterback.
Yeah, baby. And he didn't win no national, or did he win a national championship?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he didn't win no national championship. I'm going with it.
Cody says, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Cody on the board, my man. Excuse me. Mark Malone says the Roman will step it up. The Roman, I like the Roman, man. I can't wait to see the Roman tonight. Cody says, F the Patriots, man. F them.
Fuck them.
Coasterholic says, I hate to say it, but the Patriots always had our number. We did. They bullied the shit out of us. If Tom Brady wasn't down with a knee, we didn't win the one Super Bowl. I forget what the other year was. It was another down year for Brady. Anytime that we had successful seasons, go back and look. It was reasons because Brady wasn't involved. And I hate to say it, but that's how it played. I mean, Matt Castle, I think, was the guy at quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Well, we fucking terrorized him that game. James Harrison fucking ate his lunch that game.
So, again, I don't think New England has all that success for 2 decades against the Steelers. Again, who's one of the better teams in the league, Mike, just consistently over and over and over. If it wasn't for Tom Brady, again, look at the difference. Look at the difference it makes between when he's in there and when he's not, you know?
Yeah, it's nuts.
All right, let's get off of that. Let's get off the Tom Brady talk.
Fuck them.
Let's see. Coasterholic says this. He says Tom Brady talking about footballs during Deflategate will always be hilarious. You know what's hilarious? Did you see him walking into the preseason game in his Raiders garb last week?
Yeah, looking like a deranged Al Davis clone.
Like a nerd. Yeah. That's going to be weird to get used to. Ugh. RB says those teams still had success with Castle, Jimmy G, that black dude. Everyone's still wants everyone off.
Jacoby was it Jacoby Brissett?
Was it Jacoby Brissett?
I think so. If memory serves, I think it was Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. And you know what, these other guys, the backups, the Garoppolos and the Castles, everybody, you know, they wanted these guys. Kansas City wanted Castle, and San Francisco wanted Jimmy G, and even the Browns, if they didn't F it up, they wanted Jimmy G as well. These guys weren't anything. Again, you just found out it was Tom Brady, was why everything was so damn good up there.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember Matt Castle got a huge contract. Didn't he go to Kansas City on a huge deal?
Yeah.
Or a decent amount of money? Yeah, but yeah.
And again, that year that when Tom Brady went down, it wasn't like Matt Castle went and won any Super Bowls or anything.
No.
Like, you know, so.
And I love to, like, all their coaches, all their assistant coaches went everywhere and sucked.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love watching big old fat Romeo Crennel and the other fat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love watching them all fail. It was great.
Charlie Weiss, was that his name?
Charlie Weiss, yeah, I think. I hated that fat fuck.
Cody says Ryan Clark ended Wes Welker's career.
Yeah, he did. And then got the rules changed.
I love that damn. I love that Ryan Clark. Again, man, I see so much Deshaun Elliott in Ryan Clark. I cannot wait to see him hitting people tonight. Corey says New England always had one really good wide receiver and one monster tight end who moved like a wide receiver, who had full-time MLB middle linebacker coverage. Very few middle linebackers could cover that. You know what? That's a good point, guys. All those teams that were mentioned earlier on, Kansas City, all the teams that were mentioned, San Francisco, in that one comment, Mike, they all had these tight ends were freaks. You know what I mean? These teams that didn't have legit wide receiver twos. If I had Kelsey or Kittles or any of these guys, Mike, that's where they make up that difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're teams that have these just they're freak of nature tight ends, and there aren't many of them out there. But when you get one, man, boy, they go such a long way on your team. RB says also people forget we were beating Brady. Bledsoe won that. Yeah.
Fuck Drew Bledsoe.
That was the 24-17. Mike, you know what? 24-17, Sheryl Crow played at halftime that game. I can specifically remember the game he's talking about. It was 2001. And they beat us because they had kickoff. They had a punt return and a kickoff return. I can't remember the guy's name, but he had 2 big returns against us. They beat us 24-17 in that particular AFC Championship game. Phil Steele says, damn, Vanilla, you love picking out who to blame these losses to the cheaters. LeBeau, Harrison, right now you blame TJ for the Steelers' failure, yet the standard is still okay. Damn, man, he told you.
I guess everyone else does nothing wrong. It's just the head coach. Everyone else is perfect except the head coach, who I criticize. But you can't. I forgot this is Yinzer Nation. We're not allowed to criticize.
That's right. Get it together.
And I did not criticize James Harrison. I said he ate Matt Castle's lunch.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Mr. Tommy. I'm sorry, Mr. Tommy says Brady is in bed with 3 supermodels, and we're watching YouTube. He's still winning. Yeah, I know.
He's going to run that Raiders franchise to the ground. He's going to be bankrupt and destitute.
I won 3 supermodels. Yeah, no, nobody says he's not winning, but yeah, he is. He's still winning, and boy, it doesn't. It gets old, man. At least it's not at our expense anymore, right?
Right? Hell yeah. Unless like the Raiders somehow win a Super Bowl.
Mike,
Stop us in the championship game.
that meathead. I hate bringing up, but he, you know what? He gets a lot of stuff that's out there. I do want to bring up something that meathead, big meathead.
Are we still in 10 to 12 day window?
Yeah, Mr. 10 to 12 day window. He says, Mike, if we add any receivers, it's more than likely going to be a Robert Woods-esque type of guy.
You mean the guy we already have on the roster?
A Robert Woods-esque type of guy. A guy that I haven't seen do or heard his name much of anything, Mike. Again, if you pull in Gabe Davis, is that a Robert Woods-esque guy?
No.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
I think
who the hell is that? Who's
Yeah.
Meathead talking about?
I'm trying to think who would be a Robert Wood-esque signing other than Robert Woods that's out there. There's
or the other guys on the carousel, the Van Jefferson or the who was the guy?
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
Those are the Van Jefferson types. We already have that. So that makes no sense to me. He went from going, we're in the right ballpark with Gabe Davis and Amari Cooper. And
you had me thinking Tyreek Hill. Now you're talking Robert Woods-esque guys.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, man, for a big fella, he can backpedal pretty quick, man. With a guy with 2 bum Achilles, he can move, man.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. RB says, in all fairness, Tom never made a single defensive adjustment for the Pats. You know what? That is so true. Why did we never, ever do anything different? It was 2 decades of just getting dominated by Tom Brady. And we didn't, I mean, we go out there and play the same game every time. It was almost like we're going to make them beat us. You know, we're going to play Pittsburgh Steeler defense and make them beat us. And they did. They beat us every time. Why? I don't know. That was a very good question. Good question, RB. I think a lot of people did wonder that, especially, 10 years into the whole debacle. Why do they still continue to do the same thing to us over and over? And again, the year they put up 51 points against us in Pittsburgh. I mean, that was well into the decades of ass whoopings. I just don't get it. He was the GOAT. That's the only thing I could come up with.
I mean, like he did it to 31 other teams in the
But we
NFL.
were good though, Mike. The thing was, we would have had more success if it wasn't for him. You know what I mean? I think the fact that we were so competitive and we never beat him when it counted. Again, to win Super Bowls, we had to have him not playing for the Patriots at the time.
Yeah.
Fuck
that guy. Why are we still talking about that guy?
I don't know. He keeps coming up, guys. Aaron, hey, what's
He's
up?
like herpes.
Always great seeing Aaron on the board. Aaron said,
No, don't like
Steelers. We got a game tonight, Aaron. There's going to be starters playing. Everybody's excited about this. I know I sure am. RB says Alan Lazard will be available soon. Like, is Alan Lazard? He's better than a Robert Woods-esque guy.
Yeah.
And do we want another Robert Woods-esque guy? I think
I don't know. He if I remember last year, Lazard didn't have a bad year. If I remember,
he did actually pretty well last year, Mike. And pairing him back up with Aaron, who knows?
Rodgers, yeah, and that's one of his guys there. He got 6 touchdowns last year, 530 yards, only played 12 games. So he fits in with that receiving core, oft injured guys. So there we go. He fits right in. But no, he's not bad. He's a productive, steadying influence. I wouldn't call him a number 2. He fits in that number 3, number 4 role, like everyone else that we have.
And again, it's just Mike. I always just come back to it's just one play. I mean, we can think things are going good, and then all of a sudden, the announcers will be like, DK Metcalf isn't getting up out there, and then you kind of just think, okay, well, we got a bunch of 3s and 5s. That's all. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. You putting yourself in the best position to win. When I look at this situation, and I don't know if we are. Let's hop back on the board. Corey says this. He says, did you hear about Washington calling us and telling us the asking price for Terry? You know what? We were just talking about that just before you hopped on, Corey, and we don't know this to be true or not. I seen it in about 2 or 3 different sources that I think are reliable. Mike's seen it in a couple places. He wasn't sure, but it's not a big story. Adam Schefter isn't talking about it. But yeah, we did, and I would do it. We've come to the conclusion that I would make that move, but Mike, I don't think would. So We'll continue to keep our eye open on that. But again, I thought that was the initial deal that we inquired about, and they shut us down. Remember about 5 days or so ago, Mike, Washington turned us away or something like this?
Yeah, I know. Like apparently, like I don't know if we put an offer out there or we're kicking the tires of seeing like, hey, is he really available or not? I think that was the call the Steelers made. Like once like it became known that he was not in camp and stuff, it was like kicking the tires of like, or when Terry announced that he was wanting to be traded, like there were reports that we called them kicking the tires. Like, hey, is he really available, or is this like a negotiating thing, or are you guys still negotiating? I think that's what happened with our call. And now, if this one's true and they called and reached out to it, that would be a really big story. But I just find it weird that people like Schefter and Tom Porcello are not talking about it. You don't see it all over ESPN or Fox Sports 1 or NFL Network. So that's what leads me to believe that I think it's just speculation from people.
Corey says this is so true. The Redskins called the Steelers. There you go, Ryan. Not a rumor. Again, we don't know. We're trying to figure that out. I want Scary Terry. Whether it could happen or not, I don't know. But we are trying to figure out if this is. Let's see. Let's read a couple. Let's read some more comments. Maybe we have the answer in here. I just don't know. Aaron Jade, he says this. Aaron says, don't think the Jets will give us Lazard right before our game because he might tell us their playbook. LOL, not the Rodgers. Can't still only getting him after game one. If we do, you know what? That's such a great point, Mike, because who did we talk to about this?
Corey Ivy,
when Corey Ivy was on, the former Steeler, Raven, and Tampa Bay Super Bowl winning DB. We asked him about this, and he's like, what's the etiquette? Do you go to, the players go to other teams and give away information? He says, hey, they're paying me. I'll tell them whatever they want.
Exactly.
So, you know what? I don't rule it out. But that's a very good point that nobody brought up, Aaron. That's a really great point. Would the Jets give us this receiver right before we play them? Phyllis still says Schefter don't break news until NFL Live, I think. He's usually the first. I don't know. I don't know that one way or the other. You could be right, Phil. I just know that he's always the first one that I always see with all the scoop, big news. It's usually Adam Schefter right out the cut. Corey says Noah Hiles from I don't know if it's Noah Hiles or not, but Noah from All Steelers Talk reported it this morning on his channel. He's pretty well plugged into the team, so I don't know. I just think that we'd be seeing it and hearing a lot more. That's all. It's kind of that's a big story. If the Pittsburgh Steelers and Scary Terry Mike was even in the works, I would think that this is something that we would be hearing a lot more. But I'm not discrediting what anybody's saying. I just don't know. Cody says I would not trade Muth in a second for McLaurin. See me, I would. I think that we need offense. We haven't had offense in this town for years. And I would pay some money. Again, we're willing to pay our money to Cam Hayward. The guy's 1 million years old. And up until last season, I thought he underachieved for quite a few years. I would give money to my offense. Again, if you paid out $60 million to your two receivers, you're showing you're trying. Let me get a couple of these. Aaron Rodgers did say this, Mike. He says he wishes he could have Mike Tomlin could have coached him for 15 years. Mike, what does that mean? Why does everybody love Coach Tomlin so much? And then by the end of their tenure, they got things bad to say about Pittsburgh, bad to say about the culture, bad to say about this or that, Mike. Why does Aaron Rodgers love Mike Tomlin so much to where he says he could have played for him for 15 years?
He's loved Mike Tomlin ever since he came into the NFL. These guys have a weird love affair that has spanned both their careers. And like you said, I don't get it. I don't get it. They barely ever cross paths. And it's nuts. Maybe I have no idea. I'm trying to think of a reason why he would, but I got nothing.
I mean, and again, it may be small talk. It may be Aaron Rodgers is saying
he knows how to work the media.
He knows how to work the media, and we're finding that out, Mike. Because again, everything that we had said all the way up to the point when he got here, none of it ended up being the case. The guy's being super awesome. Everybody loves him. Nobody wants to let him down. This is something that I'm reading about the locker room. There's a pressure on the team because they don't want to let Aaron Rodgers down.
Yeah.
What about us? What about us out here with our paying our, or using our hard-earned paychecks to come out and watch you guys and support you and love you? Nah.
They don't care about us.
But we can't let Aaron Rodgers down. That
No.
bug-eyed freak.
I tell you what, though, man, just keep an eye on your catalytic converters when Aaron Rodgers is around.
That's right.
That's how he pays for his ayahuasca.
Okay, yeah, okay. Not what no, I thought. Or he said he's the biggest dipshit in the media. Cody said a second Muth, that's overpaying. You know what? If we, I think that the fact that we have so many draft picks, I mean, you know, that kind of brings the value. Even though it's a second round pick, you get a lot of picks next year. Like if we only had the 7 picks or even 6 picks, I think that second has so much more value.
Yeah.
But again, you know, what are you getting? You're getting a very productive wide receiver who did a lot of great things with a rookie quarterback last year in Washington and helped that team get to the NFC Championship game, which Washington hasn't done in quite some time. Again, Mike, at some point, it would be nice to focus on the offense and spend some money on the offense because the offense is on a bunch of rookie contracts. If you think about it, all these guys on the offensive line, you know, the running backs. I mean, even Jalen Warren's only 3 years into the league. They're not paying a lot of money out on this offense at all. And you just got to say to yourself, is this the reason? You know, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And we're getting what we pay for.
Well, we very much are. That's why, like, in these couple of years when we would all rail against the offense, like you said, like, you know, look at really what we're paying. We're not paying a whole hell of a lot for any of these weapons. I think now DK's now the highest paid player, followed by not closely, but I think tied is Jonnu and Freiermuth, your 2 tight ends. So those are your top 3 guys, but it goes from 33 mil a year down to 12, and then you're paying a quarterback 10. So the offense really isn't highly paid at all. But you know, like a good thing is that, like, you know, they got a young offensive line that won't be paid for another couple of years. So you got that, so you should be spending the money as you can, which is what they're doing. But you know, getting another top flight receiver.
Hayward.
Actually, no, they haven't, baby. They're holding the line on that one. I love it.
You don't think they're going to pay him any money?
No, he started practicing. I don't think he's getting a dime.
I think he gets paid more, Mike. Again, I don't think this is over. I don't think it's over with Cam. I think he started practicing for his own image, is why I think he started practicing. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with anything else besides people aren't going to look at him as the leader, a leader on this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and I think that means something to him, Mike. Again, I think it was for his own vanity, but again, we will see. Will he stop after Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf said it's not all about you and it's not all about your money? So it's going to be interesting. Like, you think that's enough to change his mind?
That and the fans slowly turning on him.
Yeah,
Cam has to be the hero and everything. Cam has to be the good guy, and you know, he may have put that thing up there. You live long enough to see yourself turn into the villain. I don't think he knows how to be the villain. He wants to be lovable. He wants to be likable. He wants to be lauded, and people are starting to see through that facade.
RB says 2 years ago he wanted to sign Von Miller to play Larry O's defensive end position, and once said Kenny was better prospect than Joe Burrow. Okay, still on that Noah guy. Corey says Pat isn't much of a game changer as Terry. I'd do it, but Terry has to retire as Steeler, though. I'd do a third and Pat, but we might need that second to trade up for a quarterback, which, guys, I do have scoop from the horse's mouth. Guys, get this. This is kind of big, I guess. Maybe for us in the future, I don't know. But Arch Manning denies grandfather's claim that he won't be declaring for the 2026 draft, guys. It's a possibility Arch Manning could come out next year.
Ooh.
So, you know, that just makes the fact that we're in this quarterback hunt. Just, you know, that's interesting, guys. Arch Manning denies his grandfather's claim that he won't be declaring for the 2026 draft.
Our Arch Manning might be the one Manning that goes against the entire Manning family tradition of doing things.
I know he never won. They all won.
Yeah, they all went to college for 4 years. He might go in for 2. But I don't know, man. I'm looking at that good NIL money. I'm taking that money. I'm riding out as long as I can. Sit out of here, Arch, and get a 5th year, bro. Get some more money.
He's a Manning. He's going to get paid no matter what he does, Mike. I'm pretty sure of that. Cody says DK Metcalf went for just a second, and every day he doesn't get traded. The Commanders will lose leverage, especially if he does play.
Mm-hmm.
Field of Steel says, when you get to the over-under for tonight's game, I'm going over on everything, Ryan. Don't bring up the freaking over-under injuries, please.
Oh, Steele, you know that shit's coming, unfortunately, brother. He can't go a day without talking about a devastating injury.
But you know that the Christian Kuntz, I guess, would be the big injury so far, Mike. And if that's the biggest injury, I'll be okay with that. But we always get one in the preseason. We always get keep your fingers crossed, guys, through tonight. And we are going to do some over-under here shortly. RB says his argument was Miller was a 94 on Madden and Larry O was a 78 when he moved. Miller, defensive end on our roster.
That's the shit like the Jets owner's sons was telling them. Like, oh, you can't go out and trade for this guy or sign this guy. Their Madden rating is this. That shit is fucking wild. That you got reporters and like people in the NFL actually paying attention to these stats on Madden. That shit is wild. I love it. I love stories like that.
Here's a little story that I love, Mike. DK Metcalf to star in an immersive XR thriller asteroid movie. What is this? Is this real?
I've seen that all over the place too.
I seen the first time I said this ain't real. This is something. This is one of these rumor sites, Mike. The more I see a DK Metcalf to star in an immersive XR thriller asteroid movie with somebody famous. Is it the Steinfeld chick or it was somebody?
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld. So this is real?
Yeah, it's really gonna happen.
Well, when's he doing this? I mean, he better not be doing it during regular season. He's got to focus.
He's like Willie Mays Hayes. He got this.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not these people that got this anymore. I'm tired of the people that got this. Aaron, guess what? The Killer Bees had this too. These guys got to focus. Like the babies. Like, look what's happening.
Yeah.
Everybody's having their babies in the off season. This is what we said had to happen for this team to, things to come together. Look, Zach Frazier, Mike, baby in the off season. Perfect. We're not affected as fans, and he can still have his babies. But I guess apparently DK Metcalf to star in an immersive XR thriller asteroid movie with Haley Steinfeld. I don't know. I'll check it out.
You can tell it won't be during the season. The fucking Steelers would tackle him as he tries to go and film that shit. Even Aaron Rodgers like, hey bro, let's tone it down a notch on the extracurriculars. But maybe he can get into Josh Allen's head. Be like, hey, Josh, me and Haley been hanging out a whole lot. He'll start throwing picks to Jalen Ramsey.
That's so odd.
He's playing the long game. DK Metcalf's playing the long game to get into Josh Allen's head.
Haley Steinfeld. What's the chances it was her? You know what I mean? It's out of all the actors, it had to be Josh Allen's wife.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Right. That is hysterical.
Cody says, Herb. You know what, is he? I'm Mike. I haven't heard any more on Herbig. I haven't heard anything saying that he wasn't playing tonight.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything saying that he was either.
Yeah, excuse me. I was over on the Steelers website and they had no injury updates on anyone.
Right. That's what I'm seeing as well, Mike. But I mean,
even on ESPN, I don't have an update from Herbig since the 16th. I'm not seeing anything on Twitter, anything on any of the other Pittsburgh news sites about anyone's health. I think everyone's going to be a game time decision.
I mean, there are guys we know aren't going to be playing that I didn't see pop up as well, Mike, like a Kuntz. But we don't know. The thing about Nick Herbig, I want to see him play, Mike, and if he's healthy, he's going to want to play. And again, it's certainly not anything that keeps popping up. We hear that if they're healthy, they'll be playing, unless your name is one of the four. Yeah, of course, Mike. So I assume that he'll be playing tonight.
I assume he will, but I feel like they're either going to, if he plays, they're going to hold out Highsmith, which I think is smart. Both guys coming back from a hamstring injury. I don't want to risk either of them, but if I had to risk someone, Herbig, because we saw how long it took Highsmith to come back last year, and I think Highsmith is the more impactful player. Hybert, yeah, I combine their names into one player, and that's what we're doing now. We got some gene splicing going on, brother. So me and the dummy back there have been working on in the offseason.
Mike, we're going to go. I want to get into the over/under here in a second. Let me grab Corey real quick. Corey says, I don't want to go after Arch anyway. All the bad teams like Indy, Carolina might end up needing a quarterback, so we might need to play really bad to get him. And I'm not down for that. That was initially, we talked about that early in the preseason or in the offseason, Mike. But you know what? After we went out and made all these moves, we didn't want to lose. We didn't want to throw the season anymore. You got DK Metcalf. You got
to go and do it.
Jalen Ramsey. I mean, we're seeing number 7 in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, people are seeing that, in the distance. I'm talking. We're seeing that number 7 sit back at that Lombardi. And we're not thinking so much about that draft. We're like, what? Maybe Will Howard is the guy. Who knows? It's
well, and the thing is too, like a team that has their quarterback could have a shitty year, get that number 1 overall pick, and they don't want to take ours because like, hey, we got our guy, or we don't want to take any of these quarterbacks because we got our guy. Then they're going to sit there and just hold that first overall pick for a king's ransom.
Yeah.
Them and the number 2 overall team, if they don't need a quarterback, will have it for like king's ransom. So a lot of interesting shit can happen, man. I can't wait till the draft season, but I can't wait for the regular season to kick off first. My God.
Well, lucky
I
for
want
you.
them both. Can they
for
both
you.
come at the same time?
Lucky for you, the regular season does come first. So nothing
Just
to
like
worry
my
about.
lady friends.
Let's get into, Mike. You know what? I'm going to do the let's do the over-unders, and then we're going to go through the schedule real quick for the weekend of the last weekend of the NFL preseason, Mike. Before the season kicks off in the NFL on Thursday, September 4th. We'll get into the schedule, Mike, here in just a minute. Let's get into some over-under. Guys, throw your over or unders on the board as we go through some, Mike, for the last preseason game, the last dress rehearsal, if you will. Here we go, Mike. Over or under today's game. Is there going to be 1.5 rushing touchdowns by the Steelers? 1.5 rushing touchdowns by the Steelers tonight, Mike. Over or under?
Under.
Interesting. Over or under 2.5 receiving touchdowns tonight by the Steelers. 2.5 receiving touchdowns tonight by the Steelers.
Well, let's go over.
All right. 2.5 turnovers caused. 2.5 turnovers caused by the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight against all of Carolina's backups. All the Steelers starters, all Carolina's backups. Tonight, last preseason game of the year for these two teams. 2.5 turnovers caused by our defense. Mike, over or under?
Fuck it. Let's take the over.
All right. A half a turnover given up. A half a turnover again.
Yeah.
So we'll be over on that half.
Yeah, I'm taking the over. Yeah, sorry. I think we go over.
All right, Mike. Over or under? Derek Harmon, a half sack.
So he's been learning from Cam Hayward. He's going to fall on someone that linebacker's already sacking and get that half sack. I'm taking the over.
I think he does it. I think he gets a sack tonight.
Yeah. The way he was playing last week, yeah.
And again, you're going up against backups right off the cut. And you have other starters around you off the cut. So, I mean, things are happening, and I think that gives him an opportunity. I think he gets the sack tonight. Let's see. How about let's do the injury, Mike. A half a significant injury. Is there going to be a half a significant injury tonight, over or under? And you know we're talking about any player of significance, anybody that's going to lose his position on a team to an injury, or anybody that's a long-term injury that's going to go into the season. Mike, of course, these are the significant injuries we're talking about. Is there going to be a half of significant injury tonight, over or under?
I hate to say it. Taking the over.
Is it going to be anybody from the starters?
Yes.
I
just have a feeling.
Mike, let's get to let's grab a couple of these messages on the board. I want to go over the games real quick for the weekend here. We do got Mark Malone saying we're going to be picking pretty late. I think you're right, unfortunately, but you know what? That's the Steeler way. We never pick earlier than 20, so I'm sure that we just come to expect it. ZPB, yo, what's
What
up?
up?
Welcome to the board. Great seeing you, sir. Let's get Mike to the schedule here.
Sorry, I did not mean to yawn that loud. Sorry.
Didn't even hear you, man.
Okay.
The schedule, the Steelers, they do start the Panthers in Carolina. That's tonight at 7 o'clock. The second game tonight is the Patriots at the Giants. Mike, that's an 8 o'clock start. That is the only games for tonight. Tomorrow, the games start at 7:30 in the evening with the Eagles at the Jets, the Falcons at the Cowboys with an 8 o'clock start, the Vikings at the Titans with an 8 o'clock start, the Bears at the Chiefs with an 8:20, The Ravens at the Commanders. This is on okay, yeah, this is on Saturday. I'm sorry. Saturday at 12 o'clock, the first game of the day is the Ravens at the Commanders. 1 o'clock is the Broncos at the Saints. 1 o'clock for the next few games as well. The Rams at the Browns, the Colts at the Bengals, the Texans at the Lions. 4 o'clock game on Saturday is the Seahawks at the Packers. 7 o'clock on Saturday, the Jags at Miami. 7:30, the Bills at the Buccaneers. 8:30, the Chargers at the 49ers. Mike, and then 10 o'clock on Saturday night, the preseason wraps up with the last game starting at 10 o'clock. That is between the Raiders at the Cardinals. After that, Mike, the very next game we're going to see is going to be Thursday, September 4th, with the season opener between the Cowboys and the Eagles. And then it's on like Donkey Kong from there, guys, because the Steelers play at 1 o'clock on September 7th against the New York Jets, kicking off the Steelers season, guys. It's going to be here before you know it. Again, we cut down to 53 men on this team by Tuesday at 4 o'clock. The Steelers are still up in the air, Mike. We don't know what we're going to do if we're pursuing anything as far as the wide receiver 2 position. So there's still a lot of things going on top of the game tonight, Mike. All starters but 4 for the Pittsburgh Steelers will be playing against Carolina's all backups. They're not having one starter, as far as I know, starting. And the only starters that we aren't playing, of course, are Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Cam Hayward, and TJ Watt. So, guys, a lot of things still going on for the Steeler team before we step on the field against the Jets here in about 2.5 weeks. Last preseason game tonight, Mike, the last dress rehearsal is where it starts. Again, Tuesday, the cut down, Mike, 53 guys. Then we start getting ready for the Jets. So, if you're a Steeler fan, this is the time, baby. We're getting into it. It's getting ready to get started, Mike. I know new people got their new jerseys. People got their new throwback jerseys, the yellow. Some people love them. Some people hate them. Everybody's just chomping at the bit, Mike, to get out and support this team and watch their Pittsburgh Steelers football team. And this could be one of the more exciting seasons that I remember in a long time, just by a lot of the moves that we made in the offseason and changes that we made. Mike, I couldn't be more excited. I got to be honest.
Me either. I'm pumped for the season. I can't wait for this season to kick off. It's going to be an entertaining season either way, whether we win or lose. It's going to be entertaining because, my God, if we start winning, you're going to see that bandwagon start filling up. If we start losing, oh man, is it going to be a bloodbath?
You know, one thing I never really minded the bandwagon fans.
Me either.
If somebody wants to be a Steeler fan because we're winning, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, like
hop on.
Yeah, hop on board. It's a bumpy ride. Well, we got room. It's a bumpy ride.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're up for it, it's a bumpy ride. You can join and be bandwagons all you want.
If you don't want to be miserable like me during a 9-8 season, I can respect that, brother.
See, that's why people do that. They go to teams that are winning in their bandwagons because they don't want the hardships. They just want to cheer and root for the team that's winning and talk shit to everybody else.
They're a fan of the game,
right?
Or not a fan of a team,
or a fan of just being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's true.
And they just want to. I mean, you know, people that do that. They pick.
Oh yeah. Those obnoxious fans. I hate those obnoxious fans. They act like they're the big time fan of the team. Like, no, you're cherry picking.
Mike, what is the score for the Steeler game going to be? I just need a prediction. Of course, it doesn't matter. Nobody even cares. Just for the sake of us getting back into shape here on the show, getting ready to head into this football season, Mike, the 2025 campaign. What is the final score going to be tonight in the Steeler game against the Carolina Panthers?
You see, I think Steele underestimated. He said 63-0. I'm going 69-0, brother.
He underestimated, huh?
We're going 69-0.
Mike, I think it's going to be 26-11. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers win 26-11. That is my final score. Mike, why don't you take a serious one?
I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to say 32-14. 32-14.
32-14. I got 26-11. So yeah, here we go, guys. Tonight it is on. We'll be back tomorrow to go over that, head into the weekend, and again talk about all the things that are going on. I just can't wait to see these starters, Mike. I'm so fired up. Already thinking about tomorrow's show because I can't wait to talk about Jalen and talk about even Jalen Warren, Mike, running out of the backfield. I just want to see some of the guys back out there and playing, and super fired up, just like everybody else is. No
Yeah.
two ways about
So
that.
you have Carolina either getting a safety or going for 2 and making it and kicking the field goal.
No, I have them missing. No. Shh. They're going to have a field goal.
Okay.
And then late in the game, they're going to kick. They're going to score a touchdown on our backups, probably Pierre. And then they're going to go for 2 to try to get more points out of it, and then they're going to miss. Or so, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's going to come out to 11 points. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And you want to talk about me and math?
No, I don't want to. It's going to come out to 11, 26 to 11. I had it figured out prior to this.
It's all good, dude. All good.
I had it figured out, but
I got to give you shit. I got to give you shit today.
Phyllis still says the Woodside show tonight, baby. Remember when we beat the Chargers 11-10, and that was the first time that score ever been recorded in the NFL?
Yeah, scoregami.
Oh, you know what? I don't. Let me think. Let me think for a second. How did I have that? I had them missing a 2-point conversion. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So that would be a field goal and a safety.
I don't know.
And after it, or they're gonna get 8 and kick 3.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was it. They
make
got
the 2-point conversion.
They made the 2-point conversion.
Yeah,
that's where I got the 11.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now my math isn't as bad as yours.
Yeah, I put you. This is true. I was gonna say, I was gonna try and defend myself, but I know my history.
A couple other things, Mike. The Pirates are actually calling up Bubba Chandler. Another situation of a day late, dollar short. Now, who cares? Who cares about baseball?
Right? This cat was pitching lights out for the longest time. Probably got discouraged from not being called up and jerked around and started to regress a little. But now they're going to put him into the bullpen.
So, Pirates got Bubba Chandler, Mike. They're off today. They do start a 3-game set against the Rockies at home tomorrow throughout the weekend, as they did beat in the a series, Mike, 2-1. They beat the best team in the American League. Once again, they did it earlier, Mike, against Detroit when they were really good. Now, Toronto, the best team in the American League. The Pirates beat them in the series, Mike, as they win their game 2-1 yesterday. Again, opening up against the Rockies at home tomorrow. Bubba Chandler will be called up, the number 1 prospect pitcher in all of baseball. So we'll get a chance to see him. And again, who cares at this point? Once the Steelers start, nobody really gives a shit. On top of you effing up this team every single year and giving us a terrible product, whatever. Good luck, Bubba, but at this point, with all due respect, who cares? One thing I do care about, Mike, is the website. Why don't you go and tell everybody about that?
The twodumbyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store over there. We got our links to social media over there. The Dumb Thoughts will be back once the season starts rock and rolling. After this game, probably Monday, I'll have my roster predictions over there before the Tuesday actual thing. So, yeah, check it out at the twodumbyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of cool things over there. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. This is the last. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? Question about the Carolina Panthers, Mike. This question will be about our opponent tonight, the Carolina Panthers. Here we go. Question of the day, guys. What's the most wins the Carolina Panthers have ever had in a single season? What is the most wins this Carolina Panthers franchise has ever had in a single season? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on YouTube. Mike, question of the day. What's the most wins the Carolina Panthers have had in a single season?
My hands are up.
Saying, don't Google.
My hands have been up the whole time, Steve.
All right.
They're up. They're up, brother. They're up. I'm going to go with 13.
13 wins.
13 wins.
Not a bad guess. Phil is saying 11 on the board. Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir.
Coaster's also saying 11. Mike is saying 13. I'm going to lock you in. Mike locked you in on 13 wins. Guys, again, the question of the day, how well do you know your opponent? What's the most wins the Carolina Panthers have in a single season? Mike's saying 13. Coasterholics, Feel the Steel on the board, both saying 11. Give another second or so. Throw up your answers on the board if you think that you do know this question. Again, what was the most amount of wins the Panthers ever had in a single season in the NFL? Mike, this franchise is only about 30 years old. I could recall when them and the Jaguars both came into the league. That preseason game where they paired them two teams up against one another was a big thing as a kid, because to that point, as a teenager, young teenager, I haven't seen any expansion. All the expansion prior to this was in the late 70s, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this was my first experience with the expansion teams as a kid. And then the Cleveland Browns became an expansion team once the old Browns moved, and then the Texans. So this was my first experience, Mike, was with this team about 30 years ago. Carolina Panthers, the question of the day, what's the most wins the Panthers have in a single season in their franchise? Mike says 13. Some 11s on the board. Guys, the final answer to this was in 2015, Cam took his Carolina Panthers team that was 15-1.
Ooh, I thought they were 13 that year.
15-1, and went and got their asses kicked by Denver with 15, tied with the Steelers. There you have it, guys. Answer of the day was, what's the most wins the Panthers have in a single season? Only 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Mike, how soon we forget the Carolina Panthers went 15-1.
Damn. Like, I knew they were good. I didn't realize they were that good that year.
Yeah, they were pretty good, man. Mike, my thing before we do get ready to roll is this. I was disturbed to find out that Clint Eastwood didn't die. Of course, here on the show, we do our death pool. Every month or so, we will pick a person that we do believe is going to die soon. We missed the mark, Mike, on the Pope because we did choose the Pope, and then he died a couple months later.
Yeah.
We did miss the mark on Ozzy because somebody chose Ozzy, and he died a couple months later. Mike, and you always go Clint Eastwood.
Always.
And I seen yesterday on Facebook, Mike, that Clint Eastwood died. Then I seen again on Facebook, Clint Eastwood died. And then somebody said on Facebook that he didn't die. I went and looked myself. And in fact, Clint Eastwood is 95 years old and not dead. Mike, it was a hoax. But again, if you're getting ready to do our next death poll, I think we're going to do it next week when Finch comes back. Mike, you might want to have Clint Eastwood on the radar, not only because this happened, but he at 95. Again, seeing his picture when I looked up, he's not a bad person. He does not look good. He's not a bad person to pick in the new death poll, Mike. But again, we're hitting him. We're just off the mark this year. Again, Ozzy, the Pope, two people that we did certainly pick early on, just not in the right timely fashion.
No, it was not. We got robbed. Death screwed us over.
Yeah. Death robbed us. Mike, anything if we start getting ready to wrap things up on game day here before we start to wrap it up?
I do have a little charity thing that I'm working with. Can I plug that real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, a little. It's a guy that helps a friend of mine on the side. He's running a charity for one of his friends. I have it up on our website. Scroll down the main page, you'll see it there. Over on our YouTube page, under the post, I have it there, and I'm going to put the link up here. If you can donate, cool. If not, hey, can you just share the link and get more eyeballs on it for us? That's all we're asking.
Now, what is this for, Mike?
A guy's going through, he has like a lot of medical issues this guy's going on, and could be in danger of losing his home. So they're trying to raise money to help pay like his medical bills and so help him save his house so he doesn't lose his house. So this guy has helped people that I know before, so he asked if I give a hand, and I did. So I was like, yeah, man, we'll spread the word. Like I said, you guys don't have to donate. Do not feel obligated. That's one thing here at the Two Dumb Yinzers. We never ask for your money. We just ask if you can just spread the link around and get more eyeballs on it, and then we'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate that.
All right, there you go. I do want to say this. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much. I do want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys are always awesome and always keep things interesting here on the show. And everybody at home, whether you be in the car, whether you be at the gym, or whether you be at home just watching on your TV, we want to thank you as well. Mike, it is game day. The Pittsburgh Steelers starters will be playing tonight in Charlotte, North Carolina against the Carolina Panther backup. If anything, this is going to be fun. Yes, we are watching the young players to see what it is we have, to see if Caleb Johnson could come along, to see if Jack Sawyer is finally going to make an impact, to see if our number one overall our number one draft pick this season, Mike Harmon, could come with another sack. I think he gets it tonight. So many things we're keeping an eye on. But again, the big part of this game, I think everyone wants to see Jalen Ramsey. Everyone wants to see Darius Slay. And everyone wants to see Jonnu, guys. All these guys tonight. Steelers at the Carolina Panthers at 7 o'clock. And then after that, it is on. We do have a few more things going. But, with roster cut downs on Tuesday, still pursuing a wide receiver. So these are things we'll be covering, guys. But we will be getting ready for the New York Jets, who we have on the schedule just a little over about 2.5 weeks away, guys. So join us back tomorrow at our regular time to go over everything that went on to tonight's game, to talk about some of these things. And again, Mike, very excited about tonight, the final dress rehearsal for the Pittsburgh Steelers at Carolina tonight. Cody says working on a drilling rig on the board. I also do want to say this. If you hadn't had a chance, go check out some of our social media sites. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok, guys. If you want to keep up with what's going on with the Two Dumb Yinzers on a day-to-day basis, go hit the follow button, and you can do such. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet today, hit the like, the subscribe, and the share down below. That certainly helps us out a lot, and we certainly do appreciate that. Mike, anything before we get ready to wrap things up and get ready for this game? Just a few hours away, Mike, here at 7 o'clock tonight. The Steelers at the Panthers. What do you got before we roll, sir?
I got nothing but other than here we go, Steelers. Here we go. The guys who need to show out, please show out.
All right, everybody. Again, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to get ready to head into the weekend. And we'll just be wrapping up the preseason for the Steelers. Still more football going on through the weekend, but again, we'll be here at our regular time. We hope to see everybody then. Tonight, maybe if you haven't yet, get the terrible towel out, dust it off a little bit, maybe the jersey, throw it on, because we are only just one preseason game away from heading into the regular season. So it's big game in different ways tonight, but we do hope everybody enjoys themselves. We do hope that everybody stays safe. Whatever you do, stay safe. We hope that our Steelers win this game and do some good things tonight. We'll certainly be watching it very closely, again, for many different reasons, Mike. But I just can't wait to see the new. I'm ready for Jalen Ramsey. I'm ready for Jonnu Smith, and I'm ready for Darius Slay. That's me. That's me. That's what.
Yeah, I can say I can't wait either for those two.
Yeah, so there you go, everybody. Again, we thank you so much. Phil, Cody, Coaster, everybody on the board, guys. You guys are all amazing. Again, let's go Steelers. Here we go. Tomorrow, regular time. We'll see everybody then. Enjoy the game. Stay safe. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the Two Dumb Yinzers, everybody have a great evening. Here we go, Steelers. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.